Uh, Hello everyone. So this is my first video on this channel, and what this channel will be about is basically trying to predict the outcome of football matches from previous data. Right. So and what better time, like what better tournament to start with than the upcoming World Cup. World Cup that is starting tomorrow. Yeah. So, um, I'm starting with the amount of possible bookings from the amount of possible bookings that we will be seeing in this current tournament. Now, I chose to start the data from 1998 World Cup because that is when the rules for the game and the amount of game played started getting the most similar to what we currently have now. But even at this, we'll be focusing more on um 2018 World Cup and 2022 World Cup. Like we'll be focusing more on the data that we have from there because that is the only two World Cups that we have so far where the VAR system was used, like VAR technology was used. So, um, all right, let's dive in. And actually, part of the data that I'm using, it seems truncated actually. So there are um some totals that are not properly counted, like completely counted. As we are diving in, I will let you know the parts that I feel are not complete, but we will still be able to make our estimated like predictions from the data that we currently have. So, all right. So first this first chart here is a chart of the total cards, the green, the total yellow cards, and the total matches played, like for each tournament, right? Um, for 1998, total cards was 276, and total out of these 276 cards, total yellow cards was 258. And look at this, matches played 64. Totally correct. Now look at this World Cup 2018, total cards 225, total yellow cards 223. So that means there's only two red cards there. And total oh total red cards then was actually four. Oh, because the reason why this is 223 and this is 225 is because uh I guess there were two times where a player got sent off after collecting two yellow cards. So yeah, that is correct. Now, total cards in the tournament was four, and uh total red cards, like just straight reds, were just two, and total total double yellow cards were second yellow cards were two. So that checks out actually. But the problem with this current data is that the matches played. I think the matches played here is not complete 62, but the data about the cards are actually very correct. Same thing with this one, 62 matches, but the data about the cards are actually very correct. So let's select if you select all number, this unselect, this unselect, this unselect, this unselect, and unselect. So now we are left with only World Cup 2018 data and World Cup 2022 data. Right. That the booking data. So total cards was 225 for 2018. Now compare that with 2022, 228. Just three cards difference. You see the similarities compared to if I had 2014. Look at this. Or if I had 2010 too. Look at this. The difference is actually a lot. The difference is a lot. So, and I'm guessing the reason why is most likely because of how VAR was used in both of these um, World Cups tournaments. Now, having this, the cards per game, the cards per game here was for 2018. We simply did, let me bring up my calculator here. Let me bring up my calculator. Um, hmm, calculator, right? So, for World Cup 2018, right, we had total cards of 225, 225. Divided by total matches is supposed to be 64, but we have 62 here. So if we do 64, right, we get 3.51. Get 3.51. You should probably write this down somewhere. 3.51 as the cards per game, like the average cards per game. Now but here we end up having, for this one, we end up having 3.63 as total cards per game. If we do the same thing for yellow cards, right, 223 divided by 64, we end up having 3.48 cards per game. So averagely, in each matches, they got 3.51 total cards and 3.48 um total yellow cards per match. That was for World Cup 2018. Now let's try for World Cup 2022. Total cards 228 to 8 divided by 64 gives us 3.56. Averagely 3.56 cards per game. I guess here we have 3.68 because this one was divided by 62. So, and now the total yellow cards here was the count 227. 227, right, divided by 64, we get 3.5, or let's say 3.55. Rounding it up. So this was the average yellow cards per game. And did I do one for red card? Yeah, red cards, red cards per game 0.06. I think that will actually be similar to the real number. I think total red cards here was 4. So it will be 4 divided by 64 because 0.06. So checks out actually. 0.06. This one, I think this is the same. 4 divided by 6 so 0.06. Same. So the estimate was 0.06 red cards per game. Now, what we are actually focusing on, we are trying to predict the total possible cards, like the possible total bookings that will be made in the World Cup 2026. I remember that the previous World Cups was it had only 64 games because there were how many teams? 32. I think 32. I forgot. But this current World Cup has 48 teams in total. So there will be a total of 104 games. Now, if you are going um with the averages from this past this past two World Cups that are very similar. Now, if we actually do remember the total cards for that were calculated for 64 matches for World Cup 2018 was 3.51 plus total cards average total cards for World Cup 2022 we got 3.56. Now adding that up together gives us 7.07 divided by 2. We get 3.535. Let's write that one somewhere again. 3.535. All right. So if you are going with the possible averages per game, like the possible cards per game with that they had in World Cup 2018, if we use that for the prediction of 104 games, right? 104 games. This one was for 64 games, so 104 games. Simply 3.51 3.51 times 104, we get 365 total cuts, right? This one, because of the data truncation, we got 377.40. So total yellow cards for 2018 was like the average yellow cards per game for 2018 was 3.48 times 104. You get 361, basically 362. 362. 362 total yellow card in the whole tournament expected. And for the red cards, 0.06 times 104. We're expecting 6.24. Basically 6 yellow cards. Sorry, 6 total red cards in World Cup 2018. Sorry, in World Cup 2026 following World Cup 2018's data. Now, let's try this way World Cup 2022 data 3.56 for average total cards times 104, get 370 cards. For yellow cards, the average per game was 3.55 times 104. We get 369. And for red cards, it's the same as World Cup 2018 estimate. We get 6.24. So basically 6 red cards, right? So this is now let's try with the average for total the average by adding up these averages from 2018 and the average from 2022 and dividing it by 2. When we did that, we had 3.535 times 104. All right, so we're having 367 total cards expected, or 368 actually. 368 total cards expected, and for total yellow cards we'll have sorry, we'll have 3.48 plus 3.55 equals divided by 2, get 3.51. So 3.51 times 104 total games, get 365, basically 366. So the expectation is, if we are going by this, we're expecting 366 total yellow cards and 368 total cards, and also like at least these values, and also at least 6 red cards, right? So that means we are looking at possible four double yellow bookings in a match, like in a match in the whole of the tournament, not like in one match, like in different possible matches in the whole of the tournament. So this is what the data is saying, and um that's what 104 games in the World Cup could actually bring out for us. So um I'll be doing I'll be doing a dive total total expected goals in my next video. So if you enjoyed watching this video, you should subscribe and stay tuned, like ready for more. Thank you.